Ready to go.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey guys, what's going on? I know we kind of didn't put out the early reminder for this one, but
Yep.
we've been so busy this week. It's been kind of crazy, but we decided we missed y'all, so we wanted
Yep.
to talk.
We have been outside up to just a few minutes ago.
Yeah. So we're both real stinky.
Yeah, and just ran in to
Sweaty.
get ready for the live. I was weeding, so I'm like trying to check
Mhm.
if there's like weeds or grass in my beard. It seems to catch
Yeah,
all of it. So
it's usually in my ponytails. Hey.
yeah, so yeah, we're getting the new garden area prepped.
Yeah.
So it's after Mother's Day, which is definitely a good time to start
Get
planting.
the garden in.
And
Time to get the garden in.
we
And
have
it
to get
feels
the
like
prep
it.
ready.
The last couple of days have been 80 degrees here.
Yeah.
And the humidity kicked in today, which has been fantastic. I forgot how much I disliked humidity until today.
Yeah, it snuck up
The
on us a
milk
little bit.
room is particularly stuffy, so I'm going to be getting some fans and stuff set up in there
Mhm.
to make that a little bit bearable for myself and my girls. So I see Betty Randall is in the chat with
Hello,
us.
Betty Randall.
Hello,
Glad you
Betty.
joined
How
us
are
tonight.
you? How are things in your neck of the woods? We've been really busy here,
Mhm.
like really, really busy. We were actually looking at the calendar, and I couldn't believe today was Wednesday already.
Yep.
It just feels like it really snuck up on us, but it doesn't help that we had a really crazy weekend, and then yesterday we actually did a volunteer work day. So we both we do lurk chats, but we both work for Liberty Mutual, and Liberty Mutual does a Serve with Liberty event where we get to choose a charitable event where we're going to go like volunteer to do some type of community service. And yesterday we chose to go to Family Promises in Butler County, Ohio.
Yeah, they help families with housing issues, which is actually a big
Mhm.
need, especially since the pandemic.
Yeah.
They said that they've had more families than ever before,
Mhm.
and just help families with either
Housing was like the
trying
big
to find a
thing,
place to
yeah.
live, whether
Trying to
it's
find some place to
they
sleep.
said they're actually using hotels now, so it's like whatever situation they're in,
Mhm.
they're trying to help them find a place to live, and
Yeah.
it's tough right now.
Yeah.
And they said the
So-
real estate market isn't helping
Mm-mm.
whatsoever. Anybody that's
Mhm.
shopped for a house in the last year knows that. So
Mhm. Yeah, it was definitely nice to go and listen to what it is that they do for their local community, and for us to be blessed enough to be able to go help. And like it was extremely physical though. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
even gonna lie. We've done a couple of these events, and this one was tough. This one was like, by the end of the day, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even work this hard at home.
yeah,
So Mark's got a purple neck
yeah.
because he got burnt so bad because
Sun was definitely
it was
out.
the first really hot, clear day, and it's like that first day of summer where you just forget that like the sun can hurt you.
Yeah.
So we both got a little bit of sun yesterday, but it was really, really fun. I
Mhm.
see that Dee's Homestead is in the chat. Hello, Dee. Sam
Hello.
Gloves,
Hello,
the guy
Sam.
that likes gloves. How are
Yep.
you?
Good to have you here tonight.
Betty says, and the mosquitoes are already coming out.
Yeah.
I know. I found them in our water troughs the other day. I was like, really, guys?
Yeah.
It's only been about
Them and wasps.
Yeah.
We're starting to have issues with wasp nests popping up. Had one by the back door
Mhm.
that was building one on the frame. So I actually took care of that today.
You know, it's funny. Last night we were putting up the bucks, putting them in the barn, and closing everybody up. And Mark was rummaging through the truck. He's like, I don't know what I did with that wasp spray, but it was hidden in plain sight. So I went out this morning and sprayed all the wasps.
Yeah, I'm bad for that. Sometimes overlooking things in plain sight.
It was like 10:30, and yesterday was just crazy with the volunteer event, and then coming home and milking and doing all the chores. We had to go pick up Joe, which was like a 45-minute round trip, and came home, had to bottle feed again.
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy last night. So by the time he did think to go and do it, because it is nice to spray wasps down in the nighttime, because they just
not as active.
Yeah, they're not as active. They don't really want to come out.
The one thing we've done to help in the barn is we've had some issues, especially in our one lean-to that has a garage door that's open quite a bit, is we put up like it looks like a hornet's nest, but of course it's fake. And hornets are supposedly very territorial, especially against wasps. So we put that up, and last year we had a lot of trouble with wasps.
Yeah.
We had one on the chicken coop, and apparently it doesn't hold up the wind because it started unraveling and looked like we decorated the chicken coop with streamers.
Yeah,
it
was very odd, but it does work because now in the barn where we usually get lots of wasps already this time of year, they're staying clear. But the bad thing is they're moving over to like the milk parlor.
Yeah.
And one like fell down on my head while I was like running my milk machine yesterday, and the goats were like, "What is going on?" Because I was wigging out. But yeah. So hi there, Randy. How
Hello,
are you?
Randy. I got Rick.
Hello, Lala and Rick. How are you guys doing? Yeah. Sweet King's Garden says, "Hey there, this is Lydia from Sweet King's Garden. This is my first time tuning into your channel. I've just seen Ashley's post in the small YouTube Facebook page and figured I'd swing on by." Well, thank you, Lydia. We appreciate that. I don't get to be as active on that page as I would like to. I hate to say it, like we've been kind of just really busy. I've finally had a couple of a little bit of free. I don't know what free time is. I force myself to edit at this point, but I'm editing a video and I was looking at it. It's from March. Like all of the footage is mid-March, late March. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm that far behind on all of our filming. So I keep filming. I'm having trouble finding time to edit everything, but it's been really interesting. Really, really interesting.
It starts raining. That gives you some time indoors, I guess.
She says, "Yikes, wasps and hornets give me the heat."
Me too.
Yeah, he's definitely allergic to yellow jackets. Yeah. So anything that
and I actually react bad to any sting, but yellow jackets are the ones that
can put him in the hospital.
Yeah, are bad news for me. So
can put him in the hospital pretty quickly.
Yeah, when you get that fear as a kid, because I had to carry an EpiPen when I played soccer and stuff, and yeah, that's what.
Which that happened yesterday too. One of the couple that was doing the volunteer work with us, she's like, "If I start to scream about a wasp and go down," she's like, "my EpiPen is in my pocket." I was like, "Oh, noted." Yep. And she's like, "Don't take me to this hospital either. I'm gonna die." I was like, because we're not from that area, so I'm like, I'm guessing that hospital doesn't have very, very good reviews. Yeah. She's like, no, they're not that great. So it was just kind of funny. She's like, and we were like, I was hedge trimming, and a wasp came out, and I was like, you might want to stay away from this area because like I don't want to have to give you your EpiPen. Like,
yeah, for sure.
We need to wait for your husband to come back before you get stung by a wasp. I don't want to have to administer that, but that was really fun yesterday. Except for you were moving rocks in a wheelbarrow, which was okay. But it's kind of funny because like we got to go talk with this other couple, and it's just weird how like you click up with people that you've never met before that you're like, hey, we're like really alike. So we really enjoyed getting to know that couple.
Yeah, they want to come out and see the goats, so maybe we'll.
Yeah, they're actually going to be buying some butchered chickens from us. Yeah. So,
like I said, Ashley said they're sort of interested in a lot of the same things.
Yeah,
like
they are.
Honestly,
it's also one of those things where they're like, we would love to move, but the housing market is so bad. And I've actually talked to a lot of people where they're like on that precipice where they don't want to be in city limits anymore. They want to come out and try their hand at self-sufficiency, which I'm always like, hey, you can do homesteading and you can be self-sufficient where you're at. Yeah. It's like Jess at Roots and Refuse, and make your waiting room a classroom. So I definitely encourage people, like, it doesn't matter if you don't have large acreage or if you don't have a lot of places to plant, like you can be self-sufficient in lots of ways. You might not be able to grow your own food, but you might be able to get the ingredients to like make your own mayo or do things like that. And something to just make you feel empowered and to want to keep being self-sufficient. That's the big thing. Emma is in the house. Hello, what's up, Emma?
Hola.
How are you?
We got Margie here tonight as well.
Yes.
Margie, Dilly got a special treat tonight. So I was weeding the area where our garden's going to go. There was a honeysuckle on the other side of the fence, so I pulled it down for her.
And it had blooms that hadn't burst open yet, so you could tell she was super excited to get those.
A treasure for her.
She was super excited.
Chowing down on it.
Yeah. So it's so funny. Like every time I pet Dilly, I think of you, Miss Margie. I'm like, this is from Margie.
But speaking of the real estate market, me and Ashley saw a place down the road from us that was for sale. It was 8 acres. It popped up, and they wanted $90,000 for it, which was mind blowing to us. I mean, when we bought ours was probably about half that in cost,
almost double the acreage.
Yeah.
So
it hit close to home because you hear about it in the papers and news and all this stuff, and then seeing it right down the road was just a little bit shocking.
Yeah, it was just really weird.
Because of course, it's extra land, and we're always interested. It's like it's close by. Well, how much is it? Maybe add more, who knows?
I just keep holding out that my neighbor's gonna sell off like a flat of land where I'm like, yes, I will pay it because I want that.
I don't know if we can afford it.
I know that's sad. Man. Well, the bubble's got to burst at some point.
We'll buy 1 square foot off of you.
Yeah, Emma says, preach it, girl. Start where you are. You have to. I think people. And this is kind of funny because last Friday we did a Mother's Day event at church, and it was like a garden party, and we were invited to kind of talk a little bit about gardening, both like in a spiritual sense, but also like, hey, let's do some gardening tips. And that was like my main thing to talk about, was that gardening doesn't fit like just in a box. Like it's so fluid. You can do it so many different ways. Like it's an easy way to start feeling like you have control over your own food. And that was, we talked about vertical gardening. We talked about raised beds, in ground, container gardening. We talked about heirloom seeds. We talked about companion planting. And because it was a church event, I also had to try to tie it in spiritually. Like, like things that you do at church, I guess. But it was just kind of fun. And we had a lot of ladies that are new to gardening. So it was really fun to talk to people that wanted to hear about it, that I can actually see and interact with. So, because like in YouTube, I mean, I always act like my phone or my camera is my best buddy. Like I'm talking to my best friend, because I want all of you to feel like, I do consider all of you my friends. You're part of our community. But I want them to feel like that connection. But it was just nice to have like faces looking back at me and being like, yeah, that makes sense, or asking questions. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Stephanie McKee,
Stephanie,
what's up?
say
How are you?
Dee says, I have 30 acres beside mine with creek frontage for $85,000.
Ooh, that's
a
nice.
Very nice deal.
Where you at?
Now,
Are you in Pennsylvania, Dee?
Is it flat enough to plant on, or?
Yeah.
Because we got some areas around here that gets pretty steep hillside, and they'll be like 20 acres, and then you look at it, and it's like,
yeah.
If you want
like
to live
we're in
on
the top
slope,
rim of the Ohio Valley, so like if you start going south, you'd be like, oh, there's like 80 acres for sale, and it's like it's all hill face.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really do a whole lot with it. Like
they try to cut driveways, so
Yeah.
the driveways are zigzag, so you don't have to go straight up.
probably
Especially
for
in
like
the winter.
hunting properties, but we have been looking for hunting properties as well. Maybe. I mean, we could definitely hunt our back field. It's just one of those things.
By hunting properties, she means areas to put more goats, probably.
Well, I was going to work up to that, but since you seem to already be onto my plans, I guess it's all out in the open now, huh?
Yeah.
The jig is up.
Rick and Lala definitely had you going with that. How many goats on an acre?
Yeah.
You're like, I need more acres.
I need more. I meant to answer that a little bit more directly too, because we'd actually talked to some breeders like 25 easy on an acre. Easy.
That's what we found online when we did some research too.
Yeah, and I've seen people run more than 25 on an acre. I mean, they were happy, healthy goats.
That's one reason that pushed us. I mean, the donkeys do a great job protecting the herd, but on top of that, they help tremendously keeping the pasture down, because the goats weren't doing it. I was having to mow the pasture twice a year.
Because goats are not grazers and they're browsers. So whereas the goats like the weedy stuff, the donkeys like the fine grasses, which even then that's not great for donkeys. Donkeys are meant to be more in like a dry, arid climate. So I actually have to watch. It won't be long before I'm going to have to start putting grazing muzzles on my mini donkeys, because with how lush a pasture we get, it can founder them out and create some really bad health problems for them. So I'm sure they will hate me very soon when we start doing grazing muzzles in the morning and taking them off in the evening. So
Stephanie said, I'm playing in the dirt right now, getting my gardens ready for my plants.
I'm so excited for you.
That's what we've been working on. So we're in the same
last week really
situation.
Consumed me though. Like I really should have been more so in my garden, but we had our first goat show this last weekend, and I don't deal with anxiety and preparations. I like to make plans, and I like.
There it is. The
that's on the deer antler.
Actually,
that's my grand champion rosette. So when you do shows like this, you show, and this was just a doe show, so no bucks were involved here, but you have all the different types of dairy breeds that are recognized and sanctioned by the American Dairy Goat Association, and within those breeds, you have dry juniors, which are baby goats, up to like 1 almost 2-year-old goats that have never lactated, which they're considered to be dry. And then you have yearling milkers all the way up to 5+.
Tremendous goats.
There were some very tremendous goats.
The Alpine that won, I think, pretty much overall, she was so amazing. Beautiful.
I mean, and I know like for some people, like it doesn't mean anything, but like when we really sit and we look at like the standard for breeds, and you look at the pictures that have been drawn, we're like, this is what the perfect this Alpine was, that picture.
I grew up with
she walked in
a
the
couple
ring
Alpines, and this one was just I didn't know they could look like that, because it just was
she walked in the ring, and I'm like, there's your best in show, and she won best in show in both rings. She took everything.
She was tremendous, front end to back end, like structure, udder, just across the board.
She was picturesque, really. She was. So we actually took 4 goats. I took 1 dry yearling, and I took 3 lactating does 2 of which were in the 5-year and older class. I took one that was in the 3 to 5-year class. There's a rabbit just like chilling out with the chickens out there.
Yeah. A couple of them bouncing around.
And it was really weird though, because when this show there were 2 rings, so you'd have one ring would be going with the breed, they'd be done, and that breed would move over to ring B, and they would start judging under a different judge. And I found it really interesting to go from one ring into the next, what the judges valued, because like I had a dry yearling that I'm like, I think she's sharp, I think she's stellar, and the first ring, like she placed super low. Like I felt like dog water. I'm like, I feel like this is a good goat. But then in the next ring, I placed second and got to go in for like the champion drive. So first and second of every class go into a champion drive. So if like the first in my class took grand, I could move into that slot and possibly be up for reserve grand.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of weird to see how it changed from ring to ring. But yeah, that was my week last week. So I didn't get to play in the dirt, Stephanie. Now I am ferociously trying to get stuff done outside.
We still have some garden boxes. I feel so we'll definitely probably end up just hauling in some dirt.
There's a place topsoil
nearby though. We'll mix it with some compost to richen it up a bit more.
Yeah, because I did muck out the stall, and while goats and donkeys do have cooler compost, you throw in like hay and straw and urine, it does heat it up. Where I did put some of it not in my boxes because I really did want it to let it age so I didn't burn any of my plants.
Dee says it's in Western Pennsylvania with a hillside, so it makes it hard to plant. That makes sense.
I see.
Emma
that creek is worth its weight in gold.
10 acres with a shop for $250K. Wow.
Whoa.
You're in a rich place there, Emma.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Lala Farm said land equals goats.
Yes,
and
it does.
that's the primary reason for downsizing to keep
Yeah, it is tough.
That was the crazy thing with the boars too. We noticed is Ashley always had to supplement them because they're a meat goat, primary meat goat. Like they wouldn't gain.
They weren't
with
as
just
thrifty,
grass,
like as a dairy goat is.
Where
And
the Nigerians look. I'm like asking her, is that one pregnant? Because
everybody asks that. Like, are they fat? And I'm like, nope, she's not. She's not pregnant. She's actually not over conditioned. Like she's just a healthy goat. You know?
They definitely have tummies on them though.
Yeah, and you can tell like in Nigerians who's not thrifty, who doesn't, who has, who puts less on the bone with the same intake as someone who's very thrifty. And I have a couple of those where they'll be on their way out because they're not thrifty does.
Yeah. Emma said we thought about listing ours because we get quite a bit for it. Yeah, but the problem is like we know some people that did that and then turned around to go into the market and then it was just a struggle. Somebody at our church, their son just recently posted their house for sale and had like 100 showings in a weekend. And they only posted it like 4 days before. So
but then like
you
think you're going to get all that money for it, but then you go to look and
which
it's like
you do get a lot of money
for.
You
do, but then you look at the market and you're not going to get anything comparable to what you had because everything is like up and you're competing against all these other people.
Ashley yelled at me at work today because I was working. I was listening to the CPI numbers, the Consumer Price Index that came out today, and they were talking about things that jumped up, and it's basically rating the scale of inflation. I love economics and finance, so I always listen to those things. And
I love goats, so I don't care about it.
Yeah, and they were talking about, I mean, the main drivers were like hotels, airlines, stuff with travel. But some of it was starting to come down. But unfortunately, grain and stuff is still climbing. Is still high. And you just loaded up
I just loaded up on grain today, so I bought 15 bags and felt like I was getting away with the steal, paying like a little over $250 for 15 bags of grain. But the one grain that I've used for filling out meat and dairy wethers for 4-H, which is what we're using that feed for, went up like $6 from last year. Yeah, $6.
He's got to leave because he's on vacation.
Oh, enjoy your vacation, bud.
Said go pay for my fertilizer. That's gone up too.
There you go.
Heard that farmers here were complaining about fertilizer costs. So
we're worried.
Yeah,
we're really worried.
Old Mountain Farm.
Old Mountain Farm is a very well-renowned Nigerian dwarf, probably like one of the most renowned.
We're fortunate to have some bloodlines with them.
Yes, thank God. We do have some really good bloodlines from them. I always look for them, specific goats from their herd too. But they were talking about how their grain delivery price had more than doubled. And and she's very Cheryl and Weil are very with it when it comes to agricultural freedoms and economics. And she did post, she's like, when your farmers can no longer afford to farm, you'll all starve. because of how diesel prices are going.
Yeah.
I mean, we're okay, guys. What's your gas prices? We're up to about 5 or 4.
Oh, God,
well, they're saying in our area we're going to hit over 5 by Memorial Day weekend.
Filled up at 432.
That was your 439 was in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Was what I saw coming through there yesterday. 439 a gallon.
Yeah, just keeps going up. And I hate to
saying
say it. I mean, there's not good signs and that's what we talked about today. It's hard to really plan for the future. Like before, you could put a 5-year plan, but right now it's like 5 months out. It's hard to know what's going to come. So
it has been very difficult. And now that I want to go to every show that's within 3 hours of our house, it's like you got to pick and choose because 3 hours with a truck hauling a trailer is, that's a lot of money.
Got crazy life here tonight.
Hello, crazy.
85 degrees in North Nashville.
We're close.
Yep.
I think we got up into, it was like 82 today and humid.
Lala says I sound just like Rick, which I'll take as a compliment. He has a monitor for his ticker that he leaves up all day while he works. That's the same way.
That would be him.
I have a extra laptop sitting off to the side that has a trading view up with all the different tickers. So I definitely
we look
do that
crazy.
too.
I have 3 screens for work and he has 2 screens and one for recreation like right next to him. So
whatever the market's going on.
You guys hit 95 today,
man,
Emma. Oh my goodness.
Now, was it a pre-dry heat or was it a humid one? I can handle 90 feet or 90 feet, 95 degrees. Words are hard to say.
They are hard.
After weed eating, I can't. But like the humidity is what kills me. I'll take 95 in a dry heat over 85 in a lot of humidity because I sweat like as soon as I start working, and the humidity makes that 10 times worse. I hate that sticky feeling too. So
you get used to it after a while.
But it does feel great when you walk in the house with AC and it's just that nice, cool, dry air hits you as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah.
Old Reading Farm.
What's
Hello.
up, Kat? Is that you?
We were just talking about you guys the other day.
How are you guys doing? How's all your alpacas? How are your flowers
doing? We see
doing?
their chickens
and
out. We always
emus,
talk about them.
And your chickens, how are they all doing? I need to know. We miss your lives. Are you guys going to start going back to that without being super intrusive and pressuring? I'm just curious.
I hope so.
It's a busy season though. This season is really tough.
Well, they got that farm too, and I know they're doing a lot of work to it. So.
A lot. I swear, every time I turn around, they've got something new going on.
They've got like a lumber mill thing. Like
you guys are doing your own lumber now, right?
Which right now is probably a lucrative business with the cost of everything. Just even for yourself, it'd save a bunch of money. So.
Yeah, 100%. Shoot.
Crazy. I said ours was dry in Nashville.
I want the dry heat.
Yeah.
Could take dry.
The humidity is just get real sticky.
So O'Reilly says, laugh out loud. The whole farm fam is good, but no lives for us. I got a new job and I don't get home from work. That kind of stinks. That sucks when you have to like change your routines, but hopefully this is like a good upgrade.
So that's John's new favorite toy. Yeah, I bet. I could find a use for one.
I was going to say, we actually looked at a couple of them because I'm like, with all the new things we want to do, like.
I don't know. We got so many locusts. We probably have to change a blade every 3.
Every 3.
Those locust trees are so bad here. They'll
throw sparks off your chainsaw.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're no joke. That's for sure.
Oh man, Emma said it was 60 degrees.
60% humidity.
60%, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm not ready for that. That'll be us in July.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely get humidity.
Or by the end of the week. It'll be Friday when we have to sit out on a ball field and watch.
Yep.
That's when we'll get our 60%.
For sure. Today wasn't too bad, though.
It really wasn't that bad. But when I walked out this morning and it was already 70 degrees, and I was like, ooh, I don't need a hoodie on. Yeah. It's gone that fast, though, because like when I was shaving goats this time last week, I felt bad because like our highs were in the 50s. And our lows were like high 30s. I'm like, these girls are going to freeze to death. But now I'm like looking at the ones that I didn't clip, and they're looking at the ones that I got shaved last week with jealousy because it got hot. It's been getting hot. Yeah. Like my goats are panting. They're big fatties. They're not used to this yet. I'm out there panting with them. I always feel
bad for the dark ones too that have to run and get in the shade during the high noon sun.
And we started weaning today, so that my barn is loud. My barn is very loud.
Yep.
It's already loud because we do a lot of separation during the day too.
So nice with the hum of the weed eater. It covered up all the The baby's
Did
screaming.
it? All the high pitched screams. Oh.
Yeah.
All I did was in the barn trying to get
Yeah.
everything cleaned up and put
Our
up.
barn's big enough; it sort of echoes a bit or hollows out. It sounds pretty
Yeah, I was trying to
menacing
film
in there.
a little bit about like weaning and how we the approach we took to our kidding season this year and why I decided to do separate during the days. And I mean, I almost had to walk out of the barn. I had to be in with the babies with them for them to, for lack of a better word, shut up. And the moment I would walk away to film, it would be like, I'm like, I cannot film in here because like you won't be able to hear me. So I don't know. It'll be done in a little while though.
Necessary evil.
Actually, it probably will.
And I'm sure the mothers enjoy it. They go out and they can actually graze without, because now some of the babies are big enough, and especially
they
if
lift
they
them off the ground.
Yeah, when they have twins and they both push, like the whole back end
Yeah.
of the goat's up in the air. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
yeah,
Miss
that
Willow,
could not be comfortable.
my grand champion Nigerian dwarf out in my field.
Hanson never done farms. Hello.
Hey, how are
Central
you?
Oklahoma, where it's freaking in the 90s.
Oh my
Do you remember that?
gosh.
Arisha? Yeah.
Arisha, I am so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
90. You know, we begged for it like all winter long. I'm like, I cannot wait to sweat. And comes here, I'm like, I don't want to sweat anymore.
It might be headed our way if it's out in Oklahoma. Who
Oh
knows?
my gosh.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys have been safe. I've been seeing storms rolling through out there
They've
again.
got a lot of babies on the ground too. Didn't
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
busy with the kidding season as well. Ours is close to wrapping up. We have
one more left at the end of this month.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got such a long break.
Yeah, we were thinking next year, just trying to tackle it in like a 2-week period. Just crush it, knock it out, because stretching it out, even though you think you get breaks between, you really don't. And then Ashley was up constantly checking, and I apparently can't sleep as soon as she gets up, and she comes back, falls asleep. I'm up still.
And then he's grouchy in the morning too, and when we're
I
both
go to
grouchy,
bed
it's
late,
bad.
so I'll go out and check when I'm still up, maybe at 12 or 1, and then.
But 9 times out of 10, if you go out and check in the middle of the night, he's going to come back and be like, they're pushing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't go check, because I have it at 2 in the morning and I'll have to get up.
But we're thinking at least then we could just knock it out. You know, if we take days off work, it covers a lot of it.
Well, and it'll make like the whole selling, because I mean, we were listening to Lala talk about the Nigerian dwarfs selling there. We're so saturated here with Nigerian dwarfs. Like, it's really tough to move, but it's even tougher when you have so many different age groups where it's like, this one is going to be available in 3 weeks, and this one is available in 4.5 weeks, and this one is at 5, and this one's because like you want to make sure that they're all at that right point for weaning, because weaning isn't always like a set like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I have some where I'm like, it's better for them to stay on 10 weeks, and I have some bucklings where I'm like, because you've learned that you can do things with parts of your body and produce more of you. I can't leave you in the pen with all these does. So
or family members.
Most of the time, there's
lots
of family members out of there. Yeah, but I mean, Nigerian dwarfs are randy little animals.
Yeah.
Like, really, they are. I mean,
my sister calls them rabbits. She's like,
they
are ready to go. She's like, almost as soon as they hit the ground. Like,
they are. Like, almost on day 2, you can catch them blubbering and acting like little bucks.
Yeah.
So I have some right now that are chasing my yearlings that are coming into heat again, where I'm like, I have to watch though, because I'm like, can you? Because if you can, that it adds a whole nother level of difficulty, because then I'm gonna have to separate and bring mom to them, because they're not ready to be weaned yet.
Definitely.
But they're ready to make more of themselves.
Yep.
Like, could you at least stop nursing before you start making more babies? It's crazy.
Emma said Matt walked in after mowing and said he's ready to move to Idaho. I'm like, let's go. I will say, me and Ashley both worked with departments, and they have a big Liberty Mutual office for like processing and just administrative work out in Liberty Lake, Washington, which is right on the border.
Yeah.
And we knew people that moved out there from the Midwest, and they said it's wonderful. The weather.
They love it.
They don't have allergies out there like they do here in the Midwest, and they're just like, it's great out here. So,
or you just get a remote job, because like 90% it feels like our remote jobs.
One of the guys I got to know pretty well, he moved out there, moved back for like 4 months, and was like,
and I was like, nope, I'm done. I liked it better out there, and went back.
Yeah, and he's from the Midwest, so yeah, they definitely enjoyed it.
Old Reading, thank you for the congrats, and yes, we did.
Yeah, finally,
we did finally.
Yeah,
yes,
teeter-tottering around for a while.
Yeah, but. And YouTube's been trying to catch a couple videos older videos like in the algorithm, which has been kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
So pennies still, but I'm happy to see pennies.
And actually, it's funny because here she's hardly getting time to edit. And then
I
all
know,
that
and I'm
hits,
like, YouTube, could you wait till I'm actually
where
putting
she's
out the
watching
good
it during the
stuff?
winter, and it never happens. So
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Hanson never done farms, says Arisha. Oregon was like that. Oklahoma is so. People like their larger breeds for sure here.
Yeah.
There's a market, but
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. There's some big boar farms.
I was going to
out,
say when we were in boars, it was Texas and Oklahoma.
Texas, yeah.
You could find like some
everything's bigger in Texas. Yeah.
beefy boars, but boy, did their price reflect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just weird because Nigeria's kind of sitting like that weird where we have so many here that want to do pet breeding, and I've gotten to that point where I almost don't. People can do whatever they want, really they can, but now that we're doing like milk testing, we're signed up for linear appraisals, we're showing, and you're really trying to breed out some of these like really bad flaws in the miniature breed, because the miniature breed catches a lot of flack from like the larger dairy breeds because they're like, well, technically you guys have so many flaws and have lost so much of those dairy characteristics that they just look like little meat goats.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see people are like, I just want moon spots and blue-eyed, I'm like, no, we want lateral udder attachments. We want medial suspensory ligaments. We want a tight front end. We want,
nice
we want good angulation, a nice long rump, a solid top line. We don't want weak chines, poorly blended shoulders, weak pasterns.
That was the big benefit of going to the show this weekend, is actually
learned so much.
The judges were honestly great about going through the animal on a one-to-one level and explaining what they saw and how it compared to the animals that placed before it.
Yeah,
so
you
knew
like 2/3 for this reason, 3/4 for this reason.
Which sometimes,
nice.
I mean, in 4-H they'll do that, but they'll be real quick about it because they have so many shows.
They're not sanctioned shows though most of the time for 4-H. So this was like people paid to get in there, and like it was funny because we had 2 rings going. So one judge was like on the mic going over her reasoning for her champion pick, her first place pick. And the guy that was judging our ring, he's like, do you guys mind if I just talk to you? Because he's like, I know some people get really worked up, like when we're judging animals, if I'm not broadcasting what I'm saying about their animal to the rest of the ring. And all of us are like, yeah, it's cool. But there are some people like, I paid to be here. I paid for this performance. This is like a champion leg. I want people to know what I've got, what my strengths are. Yeah. And I mean, it's a big deal apparently, but it was really
funny because they had 2 rings going. One judge really liked like a stockier Nigerian dwarf.
Powerhouses.
Like
powerful.
Their body was much bigger built than like our.
They look like pygmies. The ones he picked had pygmy bodies. It was like, ooh.
And ours are more of a traditional dairy look. So one ring, our grand champion didn't.
She placed second, but he said, and she really did get high praise. He's like, if I want specifically off of mammary, he's like, your doe has it hands down. He's like, but she's a little stronger in general appearance. And the judge in the other ring was like, her mammary is perfect. She's very, very dairy. She gave me all the great reasons. She's like, she told me why she thought it was a better animal than the one behind me. And I was happy for that. So we got our first champion leg, which if you get 3 championship legs, then you are a permanent champion. So Willow got 1. We got 2 more to go.
In a milk test right now.
Willow is milking out a little around like 4 1/4, 4.5 pounds for milk test, which is pretty. I really expect Willow within the next 2 to 3 tests to probably star. Which is another award they get, but it'll just be a milk star, not an AR star, which is advanced registry. You guys don't care about that, so I won't get into the difference between a milk star and an advanced registry star.
Hanson Never Done says they have a 6-week buckling that's totally chasing the yearlings.
It does. It scares you to death where you're like, please, the moment, okay, you know what I'm talking about. When they start to extend, that's when I'm like, nope, you're coming out. You cannot be in there because you're learning how to work your stuff. I can't have you doing that.
We got Farmer Brad here tonight.
Hello, Farmer Brad. What's up?
Said I'll be dropping off some ram lambs this Friday at Knightstown.
Oh, neat.
I have too many lambs. There's no order in the flock, and they all try to escape.
Oh, that's the worst.
We took weather up there. What was that a couple years ago?
Well, when the pandemic hit, we still had 4-H, and we were doing shows, but we were doing them from home, which meant we took like videos of our animals and sent them in. But then that meant we did not have a physical auction, so we didn't have packers. So we were responsible for finding that go to home or sending it to
Yeah,
auction.
and then
we
we
took them to
made the
auction.
mistake of watching it being auctioned.
Oh, that was horrific. It
And,
was looking for us.
It was looking for Joe because
Yeah,
Joe had trained
like-
it, and then Joe was upset. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we probably shouldn't have watched that.
I
But
know.
we, of course, wanted to see the bidding and watch what.
We've never been to a
Well, yeah.
livestock auction. I haven't, and
I've been to a few.
you've been to a few.
Yeah.
That was the first one I'd ever been to, so I was interested to see how it all went down. Outside of like the 4-H auction that we have,
Yeah,
like
I think
for fair.
Rick from all of them made a good point. Like the whole, it's hard to take them at
It
the
is.
processing or auction.
It
and
is, but
That's
that is
honestly a feeling I
it
probably
is
never
a
get over, but
reality. You know, I mean, it
It's
really is. It's a
unnecessary, yeah.
reality.
Part of it.
Not every. I mean, there are culls, and not every goat deserves to be in a breeding program.
Hello, Joe. See your head walking
The
around back
ghost in
there.
the background.
Yeah. I said Matt's working on plan to get us out to Idaho sooner rather than later. Right now our plan
Nice.
is 7 years because that's when our house will be paid off, but sooner will be amazing.
You
Yep.
never know. Is that good, Joe?
Yawning. Or
She's
she's
not
got something in
yawning.
her
She's
mouth.
got that chocolate egg in her mouth.
Oh, there you go. So she this week picked up the cold that we've been struggling with the past couple weeks. So
Mhm.
she's been a little bit under the weather.
She just
Not
said
enough to miss
thanks.
school, but she did miss some softball games just because
Yeah,
those are a little more,
the more intensive.
yeah,
Yeah,
a little more wearing on her. So
yeah.
I
Well,
have one more test and I can finally be done with
yeah.
Yeah.
She's had standardized
Urine
testing this
testing,
for
this
so-
year.
5 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a long time they've been testing. Lala said, well said. It's a whole different world for the mute. It really
It
is.
is, yeah.
It is a different world. I think that anybody that jumps from one to the other too fast, like it's just very shocking. Whereas like for me, I mean, we're looking at totally different things. You know, like we really are looking at totally different things. I was never good at assessing meat stock. I feel like I've got a better eye for dairy stock than I do meat.
Yeah. Sweet King's Garden said, "Little goat looking for you." That's so sweet and sad.
I know it was
Yeah,
awful.
it was actually
I-
like
it was bad.
struggling with it.
I
Yeah.
couldn't. I was like,
I ain't
okay,
gonna
we
lie,
can
It was
go.
hard.
And I'm
So,
like, yeah, we can go now.
yeah.
So Farmer Brad says, I noticed a huge difference with my astrolorps I got from Pat Whitaker compared to the it is crazy. Like even we were talking about that last time, like the Chicken People show on Netflix. Was it Netflix or was it on
Did you
Prime?
put in your order for
I did.
the meat birds?
I did put in an order for meat birds. I took
Yeah.
off the whole day so I could focus on the meat
Yeah.
birds.
We're getting them from
Mount Healthy Hatchery.
which is one on air.
Well, and it's within driving distance.
Mhm.
I feel better going and picking them up from the hatchery rather
past
than
couple years.
I got them last year, and the one we got last year we took grand.
Yeah.
So
But they're
not
well
that-
known in the
yeah,
area.
they're
bigger
really well
hatcheries.
known. Not to mention our I guess with everything that's been going on with poultry, that
Mhm.
our 4-H now requires the health certificates
Yeah.
with those birds that are coming through. So the hatchery provides that. So that was one that was nearby that does provide it without being hassled too much. So we were happy about
Yep.
that. So Farm Brad said, dropping off Friday night will prevent me from buying an animal. I don't need. You're smart,
There
man.
you go.
You're smart. I lack in that area where I'm
Mhm.
just like, okay, we need to buy more.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself,
It
no
has
more.
helped. Ashley's gotten more specific in the
I
goat
have.
breeding program, where before she goes, she's like, "Oh,
But
look
now
at
they're
this
more
one.
expensive.
Yeah, this one looks cute. Yeah, now they're
a little bit more
but-
expensive.
lower quantity, more
Yeah,
quality,
we're doing
but-
more quality over quantity.
But the bird, she's still that way. She'll see a cool, I can
Yeah.
breed or whatever. and she's
I
"Oh,
like
I'd
the
to
I like
have
the
that."
kooky ones. I'm starting
Mhm.
to get out of that, but
Yeah, especially with our lavender Orpingtons. Those are
Mhm.
starting to get big enough, and
yeah.
they're actually a beautiful color.
They are,
Many
and he
people in here
likes
know
them. So
Yeah.
if I can get animals that he likes, then it'll be more of an
Yeah.
excuse for me to get more of them.
And we've noticed too, because as Ashley mentioned too, we've had an issue with hawks coming in,
Mhm.
and especially taking some of the smaller birds. And
Yeah, the bigger breeds are safer.
yeah, they just are
The bigger breeds
bigger.
are safer.
Yeah, can fend off
Yeah.
a little bit better. So, I mean, that helps.
Our hawk is more likely to take something that it can carry away rather than something it's going to have to be stationary to consume for a
Yeah.
while. So, Hanson or Arisha, I will get that. I will 100% stop calling you by your channel name, Arisha. Thank you for explaining the shows. I am working in getting to a show just to observe and see how. I would really
Yeah.
say that it was. I wish I would have done more observation prior to showing because what was it? It was like 5 minutes before the show. I'm like, why are they lining up that
Yeah.
way?
The
Why
th-
is
the
it
good
that
part
order?
was
You know.
my sister went with us.
Mhm.
And me and her, I mean, there's similarities, of course, the 4-H shows. So We both did that growing up. That
Mhm.
felt like a familiar space, and
Yeah.
she was good about following the show schedule and knowing where
Mhm.
things were, and she was good in helping explain it to you as
Mhm.
well through the
Yeah.
process. But I know Ashley was just, her nerves were running high and was
When they
worried about
called
things.
that we took grand champion,
Yeah.
I know I was like, I
Yeah.
cried.
Yeah.
I was ridiculous.
Ashley's like, you gotta go get your rosette. You gotta go get your papers now. You gotta show
I
your
know, I was
tattoos.
like-
Ashley's just in awe a little bit.
I
So
just did not expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, there were really competitive animals, so now I'm like out there hugging Will.
Yeah.
I'm like, little champion.
yeah, it's funny because we took Sunny and was actually expecting
Her to do really
better,
well, and
but
But now that I heard what the judge said,
Yeah, what's the
I'm looking
critique?
at her differently, and I'm like, what did she see to say
were the
that? So
faults?
I've been
Where were the
watching her
flaws?
more
Yeah.
like on the move. So actually, like listening to what that critique was on my animal, like for her faults, the reason she didn't place in front of the animal before her, it does help you to look at them with less barn blindness.
Yeah.
To where you're like, okay, I know exactly what she's talking about now, and trying to commit that to memory so that I don't want to breed this trait back in. So
Yeah.
now I'm
For
looking
sure.
for a buck that's got a great front end assembly, because that seems to be where my other two does were really lacking, was front end assembly. I don't know why that one guy did not like Mo though. She was acting like a psycho.
Yeah, that.
She was hopping around a
And
lot.
she
She
was
was
just-
misbehaving.
Also for him though, I mean, he
she
liked
was
the
a very
stockier,
dairy.
and she's very
yeah,
dairy.
She was very dairy.
And instantly the other judge loved that because she was leaning towards more of the dairy bills.
Yeah.
So,
She did. She kept grabbing her skin, and
Yeah.
I knew, I'm like, she likes her dairy skin, because that's a big thing for dairy goats too. The pliable skin, like
Mhm.
wrinkles on a goat, is super desirable for dairy
Yeah.
skin, because if they've got nice elastic skin, it probably means that they're probably just healthier, and they'll carry like a higher, tighter udder because they've got more elasticity to their skin.
Mhm.
That their
Yeah, she was
their
definitely
capaciousness will be
hands-on.
better. Yeah, when she was like pulling her skin, I was like, yeah, feel that skin.
Yeah.
I was like, she does have nice dairy skin.
Ashley's up there adding lotion to the goats.
It pushed the
It's
lotion
time for
on
your
its
spa
skin.
day, Doze. Come on into the barn.
She did not appreciate her spa day though.
Yeah.
Can you go turn that light on? It's
Yeah.
killing me now
What?
because we've
Yeah,
got so
you
much
do.
glare back here. It's killing me.
There you go.
Whoa.
Now our pupils will
I
dilate.
know. Chicken People is on Netflix. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
Emma.
we watched that.
I watched it and was like, whoa, this is interesting.
Definitely one worthy watch. They got some crazy
But I know
people on
Chicken People just like them, so I'm like, that's exactly how they
Yeah.
act. Exactly.
there. Yeah.
So
Goat
most
people have their place too.
we-
There were some goat people at the show. You could tell.
But it
for
was
sure.
kind of funny because like goat people, like at the fairs and when they're selling or when they run into one another, are super friendly.
Yeah.
There it was kind of, you could tell we're all like
And
eyeing
the
each other's
funny
animals.
thing is like I don't know, the intensity of the show and
there
everything.
is an intensity.
And like there was like a family just ripping each other apart. And I'm like, all right, so after the show ring, I guess they're filing divorce because like they were just tearing at each other, the kids crying. I'm like, this is chaos behind
Well,
us.
him and his sister were listening, and then Mark's
Yeah,
like,
I'm bad for just like
he's like, the family behind us, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
yeah, I
Right,
should turn around.
not
Yeah,
even trying to hide
my-
it. I was
my
like,
sister
what?
well, where'd the mom go? I'm like, probably get a lawyer. It sounded like she was done. Like, it was intense. So
Which
I
I'm
remember
just like,
those days
there's
at the
no.
fair. Like, when
Well,
everything's
it is different when you're trying to wrangle your animal, wrangle
yeah, my
your
friend's
family.
dad always called 4-H fair that week, Hell Week.
It is
like
Hell
he's
Week.
like, I need an extra week off work just to
You do need an extra week
yeah.
to recover.
It's the hottest day too. Like,
And the animals don't want to behave.
humidity
and-
just decides to go like the 110%.
yeah.
It's always
But
crazy.
it was funny because I was walking Mo back to our pen after her show was done, and there was a little boy like in the pen next
Hello,
door.
Patty.
Hi,
Good to see
Patty.
you
How are
tonight.
you? But he was in the pen next door, and she was doing like
Yeah.
her weird, like she didn't want to walk, she wanted to jump like
Yeah.
a dolphin out of the water. He's like, look at that goat go, and she's like, I bet she walks like a dream at home too, doesn't she? I'm like, she actually does. She walks pretty good at home, and she sets up
Yeah.
and stands well. And then she's like, she's just doing what goats do, which is try her patience and make us hate them.
Yeah. Hey, somebody's watching. Let's act.
Yeah,
Out
I
of
was like,
sorts.
all eyes are on me. I
Like
have
we've
to
never
act
done
a
this
fool.
Crazy Life said been binge watching old vlogs from everyone, living vicariously through other channels to get my gardening fix.
Hopefully the
Hang in
season
there.
passes for you quickly.
Yeah.
I really do hope that for you. I don't know. I don't know how especially when you've lived the lifestyle and then all of a sudden it's like things change or you're just not in a good space
Mhm.
to do it anymore, that's just so hard. I
Yeah.
have immense respect for people that go through that.
Ashley said the people we were doing our charity work with yesterday, like they wanted. There's so many people interested in it now.
They
which is
want
neat.
the
Yeah.
lifestyle, and there are days where I'm like, no, you
Yeah,
don't.
we've got a
No, you
couple at
don't.
church that we've been talking to about it, and they live with her parents and
Mhm.
her mom actually,
Mhm.
and they have some area around them that they can use, and they're
Mhm.
starting to use it, which
Yeah, they're
is neat to
starting to
see
do
that
Yeah.
expansion and that
Mhm.
realization. Like, hey, it's a good idea to learn some of these skills and
It is.
grow your own food, which is awesome. We've
It
been
is.
encouraging them a bit. They want to come up here and see the goats too. Yeah,
I'm just
have a
like,
good-
please wait till I'm.
Yeah, right now it's a little
They're like, we
chaotic
want to
up
come up
here.
and see the babies. I'm like, they're weaning, they're
Yeah.
screaming, and they hate life. So you
Yeah.
don't want to be around them right
Yeah.
now.
I've been weed eated for 3 weeks.
I-
They've grown up, so yeah.
Our gardens aren't in. Or
Yeah.
my transplants or all my starts are starting to look stressed because they need the
Mhm.
space. So I think tomorrow we're going to take the trailer and get topsoil between work, the art show for Josie, and then she's got a softball practice, and then she has a choir concert. But I think we're going to skip softball practice because
Yeah, she's still getting over the cold, and then that's a lot.
the choir concert is for grade 2, so
Mhm.
it would bleed over into that, and I just don't want to make her run bases for an hour and then go sing for another hour. So.
Hello, Mom. She's in here.
Hey, how are you, Mama Burton?
Crazy Life said it's all packed and in storage. I'm trying to find a camper and just maybe go travel around the USA.
I actually had a coworker that just started doing that.
Yeah.
Like she started with us, and I mean, she wasn't
my
there for
brother
more
is
than
doing
3
that.
weeks. Yeah, your brother is doing
He
that.
did.
Yeah.
He got into the overlanding a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Took a flatbed, built a framed out camper on top of the flatbed,
Mhm.
with including a restroom in it.
Yeah, they're in Arizona right now.
Yeah, drove out there, and he works remotely, so he's able
Mhm.
to work as he goes. And
It seems like
traveling.
a good setup for them. They seem
yeah,
to be really
it's cool. It's
enjoying
something
it.
they wanted to do.
So
So
it scared me because they were sending pictures of things like at the campground they were at, and there was this really, and I'm assuming it had to be elk or deer or something.
yeah, it was a
But
big deer.
it was a
so.
big ruminant for whatever area they were in.
Yeah.
And like the skull was crushed.
Mm.
He's like, we moved away from this camping
Yeah.
area because I figured something that big was able to crush this and break the back and the spine. But I'm like,
Yeah.
in Arizona, I'm like, black bear, cougar. I mean, there's
Yeah.
all kinds of things out there that definitely could have done that too. So it was kind of funny because they're like, we're not going to stay here if there's something in the area that's that big that can do
Yeah.
that. But that's also like an adventure because I would love to go see wildlife like that. Here
Mhm.
we have wildlife here, but it's not like the frontiers, like the West.
Which is good with goats. So
It is good with goats because I see people that combat mountain lions and bears, and that's when it would be like, nope, donkeys aren't going to do it, llamas
Some of
aren't going
those
to do
things
it. We're
don't
going to
run
have
from
like
you, so it's
4
like-
livestock guardian dogs in here because that's all that's going to keep things at
Mhm.
bay. And even then, they're not a surefire fix for predators. So
yeah, definitely not
I don't
complaining
know.
about that. So.
Yeah. Thankfully, we don't deal with things like that here.
Mhm.
We don't deal with that things
But
like that.
yeah, as we mentioned, just need to see people expanding into
Mm-hmm.
growing their own food. And,
Yeah. Well, actually, we have friends that just bought property down from ours about a couple years ago, and this year they decided they're going to run 50 meat birds.
Yep.
And we're going to
Yeah,
help
actually, we're
teach
gonna
them
help
to
them.
process on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're going to take our plucker because they're like right down the road from us. They're actually childhood friends
Honestly,
of
within
his.
walking distance.
Yeah, we could probably roll it down there, but I would rather just drive it.
Hmm.
But we're
But
going to
they live
help
that
them
close.
dispatch and process. I don't know if we're going to do all of the chickens that day, if we're just there to show them like a portion and let them go at it themselves.
Yeah.
And then they
We'll
can
let them
practice their own
decide, too.
technique. I don't care to help. I mean,
Mhm.
once
Yeah,
you
we're
get
glad
going,
to.
it's
I'm glad they're learning. If we
Mhm.
want help processing, then maybe we'll have somebody else that can help us
come
too.
up here and help
So,
us.
It's not a bad thing.
I ordered 25 meat birds though.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I've already got 10 spoken for, so 15. I mean,
Speaking of birds, we also have duck eggs hatching out the wazoo.
we're up to 22 babies.
Yeah.
But then Joe said there's 2 other nests that are hatching right now out
Mhm.
of the 7. So I've got 4 out of the 7 are hatching,
Yeah.
or hatched or hatching.
Just little ducklings running everywhere right now.
So I'll be posting ducklings soon.
Yep.
Because I can only eat so many ducks, and it seems like people don't seem to like duck as much. But then again, I haven't really asked a whole lot. And
Mhm.
Muscovy, while they can dress out and be a great meat bird, it seems like people prefer the pecans, like the normal market
Yeah.
ducks. They
The
don't
meat's
s-
a little different for
the
the.
meat is a little bit
I
different.
liked it though.
I like it a lot. I glazed the heck out of that sucker, and there you go, barbecue honey on that. Yeah, it was really good. I was very proud of the last stuff that I
Nice
cooked.
thing is they have a nice layer of fat too, so the meat actually comes out pretty.
Yeah, but then you do
juicy
have to
and
score the
not so
skin
dry.
and try not to cut into the meat so
Mhm.
that the fat can actually drain out, or else
Yeah.
it'll make your meat a little soggy. Delicious, but soggy.
Yeah.
Can visit farm in Indiana. Wink, wink. There you go. Hey, get
Yep.
yourself a camper. Come on up, Mo.
Yeah.
You can come hang out with us for a while. We don't mind.
Oh,
Lord
not at
knows
all.
we have enough people that keep wanting to come out and to
Mhm.
spend time. And someone was saying to be, what is it, harvest hosts? But that's like where you let people come with their RVs and like they kind of camp out on your farm and just like pay for the experience.
Some camp out in a goat pen. The goats will just break into their RVs and jump around.
They'll somehow turn on the turn signal and kill
They'll
the
be on
battery
top
like
of
they
the
do
RV,
for a
like,
tractor.
standing on top. These things climb anything. I almost said camped out in my car at Baker Creek. Does that count for overlanding?
I think
I
it
would.
does.
I would include it. Emma.
I think it
Just
does.
say,
Did you enjoy
I have
that?
an overlanding experience.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that? Did you have a great time?
Baker Creek. That's the seed place, right?
Yeah. That was this last weekend, right? Or am I totally behind in the times, or was that the weekend before? That was this last weekend, right? You were there when I was at the goat show, right?
She'll
Give
let
me
us know.
affirmation,
Don't worry.
Emma. So confused.
Let's see. I can also house the horse at a friend's and travel the USA
Mhm.
with my job and transfer U-Hauls from maintenance shop to maintenance shop. What I do for a living
There you
locally.
go. There you go.
That sounds like
I
a
think
plan.
you've got a plan there. I do. I think you've
Yep.
got a plan. Because I rolled up on John and Catherine in Kentucky with
The
a
U-Haul.
U-Haul. There you go.
Yep.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
I thought you could haul goats in a U-Haul. Well.
Oh, you could probably haul bunches
Mhm.
of goats.
Just sweep out all the,
That's all that
the
matters.
poop and the shavings when you're done. Act like
Yeah.
nothing happened.
Yeah.
Be a good
Emma
transport.
says, "Yeah, it was this past weekend, Mother's Day and Monday after." Okay, I was pretty sure that's when it was. I mean, I probably don't even know what.
Yeah. Past couple weeks
It's
and
been
then a little bit of blur.
blur. Even this week, like we were looking at like my planner. I'm like, it's open. We have a pretty clear week. And here on Wednesday, I'm like, we have no time. I'm like,
Mhm.
what happens to fill up all the space? But it happens every time.
She's also just mentioned that she's struggling with like weekend fog. You get just tied up in the jobs on the weekend
Yeah.
and then forget like what you had planned out to do.
I only
I know
see
that
what needed to be done on the
happens to
weekend
me as
at
well.
Sunday at 10 o'clock as I'm going
Yeah.
last walk through the
Oh,
barn
meant
before I
to
go
do
to bed.
Meant to
And
do
then I
that.
see all the things I meant to do that weekend. Or Monday on my break when the job is like a 2-hour job and I
Get
have
to
a
cook me
15-minute
supper.
break.
Yeah.
Cook you supper.
Okay. You
I
made
made
supper tonight.
supper
I can't
tonight.
complain.
How dare you?
Biscuits and gravy. She even made it, even though she does not like
Didn't eat
biscuits
it.
and gravy.
And I made Joe bacon.
Not sure why, but
It's the texture. It's
I love
goopy.
it. And she still made it for me, so I can't complain.
Yeah, it's goopy. Just ugh.
Oh, Dawn was in here.
Hi, Dawn. What's up, butt? Don't
Sorry
worry
I'm
about
late.
being late.
Nope.
I'm just glad she stopped in to give us
I
a
will
howdy.
say I started, or I friended Don on Facebook, and I love his posts.
Mhm.
We have a lot of similar viewpoints on things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, this guy rocks.
Yeah.
I'm more
Yeah.
quiet on
Yeah.
Facebook, but if somebody says something out there, I'm definitely jumping.
Well, that's
on board,
how like
yeah, I
the
agree.
couple was
So-
when we were volunteering with yesterday, and like I always just assume like people always gonna have different viewpoints, and I'm totally fine with that. But that's why I'll keep them very guarded, and I won't really. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't say anything that could be offensive. But like they started saying stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
like, we're cool. Like
Yeah.
we're
like,
on the same
he
vibe.
started bringing up gun stuff. I'm like, okay, well, you mentioned that stuff. It's sort of taboo to talk about work, but do you like that stuff? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So that rolled into a whole. I think
Yeah.
he sat there and talked to me the whole time. I was like trying to push a.
Well, it
wheelbarrow
was
of
funny
rocks.
because like his wife was like, "Did they just become best friends?" I'm like, "If it's about pew pews and
He was
bang
into
sticks,
those,
yes."
and he was
they,
into EDC, everyday
yeah.
carry items.
Yeah, you guys.
So we were
bonded
talking
up
about
over
what
that.
batteries we put in our flashlights and everything. It was definitely
They were
some
nerding
bonding.
out together.
Yep.
It was quite cute.
He was actually a pretty cool guy.
But it was weird because like we'd worked with him in the office for forever,
Just
and when
never-
we saw his name on the email, I was like, "Is that the dude that looks like Jesus?" Because he always had longer hair.
Yeah.
always. So I was like, is that the guy that kind of looked like Jesus? So we brought
Yeah.
that up to his
Super
wife. I'm
down
like,
to earth.
how long has
Awesome
it
guy.
been since like he had the long hair? And I'd always heard about the guy that when we were there, there were geese that would nest all over the walking trails in the pond by the
More
building.
hateful little devils too.
They were very hateful. But we always knew there was this dude that punched one, like stood his ground and punched a goose, and it was that guy.
Yep.
I was like, you're a legend. Like we knew you before we knew you. So it was really neat. Dawn said, "Congrats on successful goat showing." Thank you.
Ashley was
I was
overjoyed with it.
super happy about that. So much so that I was looking at all the other shows and looking at the gas prices and saying I will have to limit myself now.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to do more. I think it'd be a lot more fun to just do all of it.
Emma said the festival was amazing. It was so great to be around so many people hungry to grow their own food.
Yes.
And hang out with friends. And we'll spend some time with Jake and Becky from White House.
Wow.
I actually saw them
did.
The Homesteaders of America.
I didn't want to go up to them.
And was too embarrassed.
I was just bashing one of their bee videos, so I didn't want to go up. I'm like, it's wrong to go up.
Ethan and Sarah from 180 Degrees from Average. Great people.
Cool. Very neat.
I'm
very
familiar
neat.
with them. You probably have to. I've probably seen them. Just didn't.
You probably
I'm
have.
not good with remembering the names, but like faces. I
honestly probably subscribed and don't even know you're subscribed.
Mm-hmm. Jake, I didn't recognize though. Ashley had to point me out to him because usually the videos we watched was always the beekeeping ones. He always had to. Like if he had his bee suit on, I probably know someone.
Those are the only ones I share with him because I'm like, what is he doing?
The poor guy was like always getting attacked. It did give me a little bit of a like PTSD.
He keeps trying though. I will give him that.
He's
where I'm like,
definitely
you
persistent.
are persistent. I will give you that. Like
But,
I can admire that.
Look how vicious he has that one. He had that one hive that was just like
He tried to requeen it, and
angry.
He's like, I don't want to exterminate it. But I
Yeah.
was like, it's a very hot.
It was like attacking his camera, his whole like suit.
Well, he was talking. He's like, they had to drive for like 35 minutes to get the bees to stop chasing them, and I'm like, those are persistent. The most I've had is like 3 or 4 guard bees that probably chased me about 3 acres of our land, just because that's what happens when they start to hit you and like get aggressive. You just walk away, you know. And they followed me for about 3 acres. So I'm like, okay, I guess you guys really hate me.
Mainly because you opened it before rain came and you didn't know it was rain.
And it was the fall time, and all those things combined probably shouldn't have gotten the hive, but I really needed to get in the hive. So Don says, thanks, man. I'm a libertarian, so my posts usually eventually piss someone off, but I try to shoot straight and bounce anti-government stuff with Star Wars.
We're totally on board with that. So, like I said, I enjoy seeing them. I'm always in there like, that one gets a like.
Yeah.
So. Hello, Generational Homestead.
How are you?
Good to have you in tonight.
King is back. YouTube doesn't really like me doing too many of those. So what I've got out there is probably all I'm going to have out there.
Beautiful guy, can you make a video?
Well, at least he didn't call you Beardy and ask to see my dumper. That was nice. Thank you.
Hello, Cabin on the Hill. Good to have you here tonight. Emma said the lady coordinating the Ozarks Expo was talking to Jake and Becky, and their baby Isabella was not having any of it. She was inconsolable. But the lady wouldn't stop talking.
That's tough too. When you're like, do you not see
because they have a
this
couple
infant?
kids, don't they?
Yeah. It's 4 now. Isabella was their 4th, correct? They have 3 sons and then Isabella.
Yeah, that's a handful.
I love Uriah.
The Rhodes had a couple kids there, quite a few kids there too, didn't they?
They do.
They
Lots of children.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to like go around the Homesteaders America
One
event.
puts me in the ringer. I can't
People
imagine
coming up and talking, and then you got kids trying to manage that. Yeah, that's definitely a handful.
Power to them, because like with just Joe, I'm like, oh my god.
Jill's laid back though, so
she is super easy. Like she's always been an easy kid.
Although when she's done, she's done. Like when she's ready to go home, it's like, all right, well I can put up with you about 10 more minutes, but like, you'll just be there. She'll be huffing it in your ear, just like sort of naggy, and I'm like.
So when we did our goat show, actually, like Joe went to my mom's on Friday after we had our garden party at church for the Mother's Day event. And then she stayed with my mom Friday night, Saturday night, and then came home Sunday after the goat show. So it was kind of funny. Like after she came home, we had to go back out. We wanted to go see his mom for Mother's Day. Joe walks in and Vanna's like, hey, Joe, how are you? She's like, I just want to go home. I'm like, that is so rude. You could just tell she was done. Like she will not She won't pull any punches
No.
when she's tired and
No.
done. She will
She'll
tell
pretty
you
much
she is
tell you how
tired
she
and
feels.
done.
There's no sugarcoating it with her. That's for sure.
But she always yells at me. She's like, you didn't want to do that. And you said no. And like, you couldn't even say no. Or you said no in like the nicest way when you should have been mean. I'm like, well, then give Mama the power.
Yeah.
So Mom can't do that. Mom does not operate like you.
Hello, TNS Dogs and
How are
Dragonflies
you?
Farm. Good to have you
welcome,
tonight.
welcome.
I'm
How
a-
are your Great Danes doing?
Oh, they got Great Danes.
They have Great
I
Danes.
was wondering
Yeah.
what dogs they had. My friends down the road that Ashley was just talking about a little
Mm-hmm.
bit ago that we're going to help processing on Saturday, they have Mastiffs. And those are
Yeah.
giant dogs too.
But they're so cool. Their
Yeah.
heads are like this big.
But I'm like, man, how much food do those things eat?
I know.
Like
That might
that's
be
a
why
big
they
dog.
bought 50 chickens.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way they're going to
Make their own
Maybe they're
dog
gonna
food
meat
plant up
feed.
there.
You
Might
never
need to
know.
with them.
There's something about a dog that you can like grab its face and it's just
Mhm.
like, oh, I just love those
Well, the
dogs.
petty, you just
yeah.
reach out. You don't have to reach down like
Well, they
ours.
said like the big thing with them is they started to get full grown now. So they started with puppies and it's like the bad thing is like he's head height with the countertop, so he'll just like walk
I
by
made a
and
sandwich
snack
and went
on
to the fridge to get
things.
something and just like pulled it
It
down.
was gone.
Yeah.
He's
And
like,
swallowed it before. I
yeah,
mean,
he's like, well, Massey
find-
Ferguson just walked by and
Yeah.
grabbed it off because that's his name.
They're
Is
big
Massey
dogs,
Ferguson.
they're
So
so cool though.
they are super cool.
Their personality's great though. They're pretty laid back.
Yeah. When we went sledding up at their house, I was like, I really want to hook all of your dogs like up to a sled and just like mush.
Emma said I went over and took Isabella away and showed her the peacocks and geese.
Aw.
Finally calmed her down and it was so stinking cute listening to her
Aw,
talk
Emma,
to
it
the
sounds
geese.
like you had
Aw,
such a good time.
that is awesome.
I'm so
I'm
glad
sure
to
they
hear
were
that.
happy to be like, oh, we got a break to talk.
Mhm.
So
You did a great job. Thank you.
yeah,
I really tried.
it was definitely a learning experience for her. So, like I said, I grew up in 4-H, so I was used to showing. That's really your 1st
Mhm.
time in a ring
It
showing
was.
goats.
So my first, and it wasn't really a show, but like we did a kind of like a fundraiser last year after a fair where they'd be like, they would nominate you to go in and do like a fun goat show. And I got nominated.
Mhm.
And I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
Like
It
I'm
was
always
just
telling
for
Joe
fun,
how
so
to
it
do
was like a
showmanship,
joke a little
and
bit.
which is kind of hilarious when you think about it. That
Yeah.
I was trying to teach Joe how to do showmanship and to lead goats.
It was
and
cool
I
though because
never
it
done
raised
it.
money for charity too. Though.
Actually they raised quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I do have a new respect for my daughter because like I was walking the goats around like the house and she's like, am I gonna have to show goats with you? I'm like, no, it's I'm doing it. But it was so funny because she stopped and she's like, you're gonna pretend like I'm the judge. Because I do that to her. I'm
Yeah.
like, you need to maneuver. The animal's always between you and the judge. You're always trying to keep the animal like the best foot forward and everything like that. So you could tell she felt very empowered. But I have a new respect because it is, it's a little mind bending and there's a lot of anxiety to it. And when the animal is not behaving, you're just like, you did just perfect at home. Why can't you do it here?
TNS said, "Good. The new puppy is wound for sound." You gotta love the dogs that like to talk. Like
yeah.
our newer
Well,
June.
she's 4, but
She
she's got that great
definitely,
peer in her.
Yeah, talks to you a lot more than our little
You
mini
can tell
Australian
because
Shepherd.
I'll be like, don't you talk back.
Yeah.
And that she knows, like that's me saying talk back to me, you
Yeah.
know.
She's
She
definitely
thinks
way
it's
more
funny.
vocal than the other one.
But boy, her vocalizations though are very specific because like when that coyote was in the backfield, like we both were like the hair stood up on the back of my neck. I'm like, that was business bark. And I'd never heard it come out of her.
Yeah,
It was
deep
kind of
and bellowed.
crazy. It was like, ooh, something is around.
Generational said goats love animal crackers, but the problem is I love animal crackers
They
too.
compete
So
with
you can
him.
we need to get one of those big barrels they sell at Costco. Like
We really do, but I found like my
my
goats love
sister,
like
my sister keeps
watermelon
one in
and
the barn, but unfortunately the mice
the
found
mice
it too.
get in, and the mice will chew right through the plastic.
Yeah, they love the animal
So she
crackers
needs a nice
too.
tin or something.
Yeah.
But then when the goats figure
That's
out
true.
that it's there, like they know exactly where to go to just knock it over. So
Mhm. Yeah, they
my
make a good treat. What else did I feed them the other day? I was feeding them some apples we had in the
apples.
house.
I fed oranges. They love
Yeah.
bananas, watermelon, pumpkin.
Yeah.
They love all of it. Strawberries.
Yeah, the animal crackers are a good
Broccoli.
quick snack for them.
Yeah.
Jonathan said, I have the same shirt. Never did a video for them.
We
Neither
do.
did. We still have their products out in the garage and tried any of their products. But I wear the shirt all the time. Same
We
here.
did the
I
same
actually
thing.
their shirts like that nice thin material that I like. I don't like the heavy t-shirts. so I wear it quite a bit. So
Mark
hey,
did
I'm
so-
doing the advertising for him. I actually wore their hat at the charity event
He
too.
did. He wore it
Yeah.
yesterday, but it's so funny because like every month I'm getting one down. One of the cleaning practices like, we really should do a video on this. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
So
But then we look at the products and like, we could probably use this, and then we put it right back.
yeah, it's like one of those like it goes on the garage shelf and never really
It's if
comes
you
back
need something and you have nothing else, you're
Yeah.
like, well, it was
down.
free.
It's the last
So,
resort shelf.
Dawn, that is just
Yeah.
cracking me up.
That's our situation too. Yeah, he called it.
Yeah, because when I reached out, I'm like, Mark, what shirt size are you? Because I will not wear that shirt.
I don't mind it. It's free. Like I said, it's comfortable. So
I find it stressful though because I can never tell when things are like legit or scams.
yeah,
Like I have one that's I can't even remember. It's like atrivium or whatever, but it's like chicken coops and rabbit hutches. And they keep saying they'll send me a free one.
which we might need the rabbit hutch. So
The bottom fell out of our rabbit hutch.
we had a couple instances where I let Bun out in the yard to give him some time
and
outside.
Forgot
and
about
forgot
him.
about him. So I actually looked out
My
and
poor bunny.
he was out in the middle of the goat field. There was one time he was under the tractor when she went
And
out
he just was
to
chilling.
put things up at night. But the other day, it was like a couple weeks ago now, I'm sitting at my computer and I look out the window and like a bunny hops by in the yard. I'm like, that looks just like Bun.
And I was like, you're on
But
drugs.
we have wild rabbits here. I'm like, maybe it was. I'm like, babe, I think, and I'm on a call and I'm like, I think there's our rabbit just jumped by the window. She's like, you're nuts.
I did.
Sure
I
enough,
told him like, you're
goes
on
a-
drugs. There's no
Yeah,
way.
Sure enough, goes out there. It was our rabbit.
He
Yeah.
came running up to me. But I don't know how long he'd been out. He was like so soaked
Yeah.
with like
But
the
he
morning
bit her,
dew.
which he
He
never
bit me.
bite.
I
Like,
was
hey,
like-
I'm wild now. I've been out with the wild rabbits. You can't tame me no more. But it
That's what
was
Mark
the
says,
bottom
like,
of the cage fell out.
It
Like
did.
the hutch.
It
That's
fell
how it goes.
out. So now I'm like, well, maybe I need to give these people a
Yeah,
response
more
and they
opportune
can send me a
time
new
than right
rabbit
now.
hutch.
So
But I was like, Mark's like, he's if I could speak, I get so excited
yeah.
about it.
Excited about talking about Bun's adventures.
And Mark was like, she's like, "Look, we're gonna go out in the yard one day and there's gonna be all these like little lop-eared wild
Yeah.
rabbits. He's like, he's probably out
You
there.
can definitely tell when his bloodline's getting the wild
He's
rabbits.
probably
He'll be
out
like,
there having fun with every
been-
female rabbit he could.
we have a
There's
bunch
a ton
popping
of
up.
wild rabbits around here.
Which is probably why the coyotes started coming out. Not
Yeah.
to mention we have giant squirrels too. Like big enough the
Very-
goats are like hesitant when they're in the trees.
They
to be like,
love the mineral blocks though.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where I always see them is on the goat mineral blocks by like
Mhm.
the troughs and stuff. It's very odd.
That's
But,
funny.
Yeah, and but yeah, I went and I'm like the whole bottom fell of the hutch, and he bit me as I was putting him back in. I'm like, I know you've been outside, but you're not that wild yet. Where he's
Mhm.
probably like, I'm a wild rabbit now, lady.
Yeah.
Like I don't put up with none of that crap. So I was offended. He's never bitten me. He
Yeah.
bit you in the armpit once.
Yeah.
Mark had his head like tucked in
Tucked
his
in there.
shoulder.
He bit through my sleeve once too.
He,
This was
he
early
did.
on.
He ate through like a hoodie sleeve,
Yeah,
like just
I
was
didn't know you
nibbling it.
nibble on
But I was cleaning out a stall, and Mark's like, "Yeah!" It
Yeah.
was the most
I
high
can
pitched
actually get high
squeal.
pitched when something hurts. I don't know what
It
happened.
was the most high pitched squeal. He's like, "Bud just bit me
Yeah.
in the arm."
Yeah, a little sensitive area, but yeah. Funny thing is that when I get hurt and then I squeal, she gets a kick out of it and laughs. So I
Okay,
get
it's
no
not just you. Like
Get
small
consoled at
children,
all.
like when they like that high
Yeah,
pitch, like
and
I'm
extreme
afraid for my
fear and
life
running.
scream. Hilarious.
Yeah, I should die laughing.
Hilarious.
Kid is trying to be consoled by the parents, and Ashley's giggling over there.
Like when those kids came out to visit the farm, and the one was so scared of the little baby bottle goat that was like chasing him. So the goat is like no joke
He had a
this
bottle,
big,
so of course it
and
was.
he had the bottle in his hand. He was running. He's like, "It's gonna eat me."
Yeah.
There's something about genuine fear that I find hilarious, unless it's my own, and then
Yeah.
it's all business.
Yeah.
Like it is for real.
Yeah. So speaking of fear, last night Ashley went to. There's a big old wolf spider on the bathroom wall, and I'm like, all right, let me find something to get. Ashley, I got it. Grabs a piece of toilet paper, goes to smash it, thinks she smashed it or has it in the toilet paper, comes off, runs over her hand. She goes running, screaming out of the bathroom, knocks me
It
out.
went down the vent.
Yeah, so I didn't even get to get it. And I'm like, well, that
I did. I like hit it against the wall real hard and
Yeah.
like pulled it back to
told
look.
her one of us will
And
probably
it
eat it. and
zoomed over my arm. I was like, "Ah!" But I don't do high pitch.
Mm.
I do like primal caveman grunt. I'm
Yeah.
like,
then
"Ah!"
we're opposites. Then I told her we'd probably eat it at night because I always see that study.
He's like,
so many
one of us
spiders-
is gonna eat that thing.
Yeah. I always see those studies that people eat spiders in their sleep. So I'm like, yeah.
He was so mad at me because he's like, I'll get it. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, I've got it.
Yeah,
I'll
I
do
jumped
it.
out of bed, knocked me out of the way, and it's like,
I did knock
That's-
you out when you
yeah.
go get the spider and then failed miserably. Oh gosh. Generational Home says that would be a great storybook. We should.
Yeah.
Bun Bun could make his own storybook. I would love to illustrate for that.
Emma said, just give him some screen time with the shirt using the products. Then you wouldn't have to dedicate a video
That's
for
what
it.
Mark
Sure.
said, but he's actually had like the super
Yeah.
clean shirt and the hat on a couple times
Yeah,
in the video.
so I've already got their advertising. And what better model could they have than a big bearded man using their products? So it's like the more farm version of Mr. Clean.
Yeah, okay, Beardy.
Yeah. I do have the bald head like Mr.
You do
Clean.
have a bald head, but
Yeah.
he was clean shaven.
Mr. Beardy, you could call me. There you go. I don't know if that's sticky there.
I don't like that.
And then if I shaved it off, I'd like lose my title.
Is that what would happen?
Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
I feel like I would have stranger danger if I saw you without
Yeah, especially now.
that now.
I would probably have stranger danger.
Ooh, Emma!
That always is
Not
it.
out.
That's
It
creeper
ran
material.
so
Yeah.
fast over my hand.
Yeah.
Like
Ashley's like not terrified of spiders until they get on her.
when they touch me, all bets are
Yeah.
off. Like
Yeah. It was
I
it
can't
was
do
booking
it.
too.
It flew.
Yeah. It was like, I got you. It was like this.
And I like
It was
shot
like
one
basically playing the slap hands game where like you thought you had its hand slapped and nope, it came over the top of yours.
But I shot with like the whole handful of like toilet paper. Like, "Ah!"
Yeah, that was chaotic.
I was very entertained after I got over
Yeah.
my bout of fear, and he was angry. He's
Yeah.
like, I told you I could get it. He took off his shoe.
Yeah.
You should have grabbed something else if you were quicker. But the only good thing is there's gonna be a smeared
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to grab a
spider
shoe.
on my wall.
Yeah.
And I figured I can just kind of
It's a
gently
pretty good
smush
size
it.
one, yeah. So I was like,
Softly smush it. It just
Yeah.
it was too
I was
soft.
trying to figure out a plan, and then you just went in and totally
Created
just
total chaos, which is-
fireballed it. Like,
which
oh,
is-
we're gonna do this.
which is usually how things go around here.
Yeah.
He wants the plan, and I'm like, nope, we're doing it now. We're doing
Yeah,
it this way.
yeah.
9 times out of 10 it doesn't work
Sometimes that
right.
works, sometimes it doesn't.
9 times out of 10 it never
Yeah.
goes the way that we think it's going to go.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
we better
we're going
wrap.
to wrap it up.
Yeah, because we gotta get the garbage out, put the animals up. So we had a great time
Emma,
with
don't
everyone.
say that.
Yes,
It's
you
probably
did.
already in my
Yeah.
stomach. I probably already ate it. Probably.
It's gonna be like what was that movie, Arachnophobia or something
Oh,
like
that was not. That was a horrific
that?
show.
Yeah, that was
When
a
I
farmhouse.
was
Remember all
young,
the spiders?
that movie
guys remember
scared me
that
to
one?
death. But now that we've watched it, we watched it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
And I was like, this is
sort
so
of cheesy when you look back.
But yeah,
Back in the
Yeah.
day, that was like terrifying.
it was the
so.
thing back then. So
Jeez, you bumped my hand.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna get some bottles ready for some bottle babies.
Yeah.
We're gonna close things up.
So
but,
awesome talking to everyone
yeah,
tonight. Had a
we
good
miss
time
you
as
guys.
always. Yeah, like Ashley said, or what we were talking about with the summer coming up, lives might be a little bit harder to get
Yeah.
more consistent. We're going to definitely try to keep them up though. So just keep an eye out. She'll definitely keep everyone posted on
Yeah.
our farm page and the
Yeah.
community
Today I
tab.
didn't
So,
get you guys a very big warning, but we didn't know if we were gonna be able to do it or not.
So
So
if we're not making it, you're definitely pretty good about
Yeah.
notifying everybody of that. But
yeah, for sure.
once you say your
For
little
sure.
tagline,
I
we're
say
up
my
to-
little tagline.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you guys all for spending your time with us. We hope that you are all being safe out there and being kind to one another, and we will catch you on the next one.
Yep. God bless us.
God bless you.
Have a good night.
Bye, y'all.